Okay, y'all, I am back with my Hoodoo Storytime Part 7. We are starting to wrap things up, y'all. So, when we left off, the doctors broke the bad news to Deja along with the family and Calvin that Calvin was paralyzed. The doctor did explain that this could just be some swelling and inflammation and that only time would tell if he would be able to walk again. The first few weeks, he would be being transferred to a rehabilitation clinic where he would stay, and then after that, he would have the option to go home. So it was really a shock to everybody, and it was really going to be a hard transition because of what him and Deja was already going through. So for the next 6 months, Deja did what she had to do. She went home. They had nurses in and out of the house helping him to recover. But after 6 months, he was still in a wheelchair and he still could not walk. But by this time, both of them were at the point where they couldn't stand to be around each other any longer. So they both agreed that it was best for them to go ahead and get a divorce. It came down to the fact that both of them were lawyers, both of them knew their rights, both of them knew what they could get out of the marriage, and Deja, she decided that she wanted to get half of everything, and that's when Calvin said, "Bitch, where's my $50,000 that you stole from me?" So at that point, Deja, she knew that it wasn't really much she could say after that. So they decided to liquidate the house, and Deja kept the $50,000, and Calvin kept the rest of what he had. After the divorce, Deja decided to go back home for a while, taking a long way home, of course, to Miss Minnie's, where she did some relaxation, some rest, some soul searching, and she began to find herself again. With everything that had happened, Deja found herself back closer to spirituality, closer than she had ever been. She knew the ways of spirituality. She knew the ways of hoodoo. She was raised in it. But a lot of trauma had happened when she was younger. And once she moved away and went to college, she kind of left those ways behind as well. Once she married Calvin, she became Christian because that's what his belief was. But after everything started going on, her spiritual gifts started to wake up again, and she started to find herself again. She realized that she did not need a man to define who she was. She also realized the power that she held within her. She regretted the time that she did not use her law degree and became a stay-at-home wife to let Calvin shine when she could have been doing the same thing. But we all know that everything happens for a reason, and this journey only made her a stronger person. So Deja had to go back to New York to finalize some paperwork. While she was there, she caught lunch with some of her girlfriends that she hadn't seen in a while. And upon leaving the restaurant, y'all, who did she run into? Detective White. He was very happy to see Deja, and she was happy to see him as well. Detective White had never forgotten about Deja. He even had some dreams about her. But he had to keep it professional. But at this point, after 9 months had passed, no new evidence had surfaced, so they were going to go ahead and close the case out anyway. Upon seeing Deja, they did talk and they caught up for a while. Detective White decided to basically shoot his shot, y'all. He asked if he could come visit her in South Carolina, and Deja agreed. So, after Deja went back home, Deja decided that she wanted to open up her a law firm in the town where Miss Minnie lived. She noticed that there wasn't many black law firms, especially in the 70s, and she felt like she wanted to help her people. So that's what she decided to do, and that's what she was working on. Detective White did come down twice to see her, and they went out to eat. She really cared for him, but she was definitely proceeding with caution after everything that had happened with Calvin. One Friday afternoon, Detective White popped up. She wasn't even expecting him. He wanted to surprise her. He asked if she would accompany him to Myrtle Beach. And of course she agreed. They went to Myrtle Beach. They got a hotel room, of course. They wanted to stay for a night. They walked on the beach, and under the moonlight, Deja and Detective White took it there Okay? After that, Deja was a little nervous because she was trying to like not show her emotions, and she didn't want to set herself up for failure. She kept feeling like she might end up getting hurt. So after their encounter, she kind of became distant from Detective White, even though he was calling her several times. So he didn't know what was going on. He was wondering, well, what did he do? Or did anything happen that she didn't want to happen? He had a lot of questions in his mind at this point. She knew that she would be seeing him in a few weeks because they had planned a big birthday party for Miss Minnie at the juke joint, and she had already invited him to come. So, in between that time, her and her brothers and sisters, Sharon of course, were making plans and preparations for the big bash. And then the time came, the night of the big bash. Everybody was there looking their best, and in walks Detective White. He is looking handsome as ever, and him and Deja can't help but feel the attraction that is going on between them. Of course, Deja is helping with everything, with the food, with the music, everything that's going on. She is making sure that everything is good between her and Miss Minnie. Miss Minnie comes in the back and she says, Deja, I want to talk to you. She tells Deja that she never stopped thinking about the comment that she made when she said the apple didn't fall far from the tree. She explained to Deja that she did not intentionally hurt her father. Yes, Deja had a lot of trauma because her father died when she was a little girl, and she always felt like Miss Minnie did something to her dad. Miss Minnie told her that she didn't do anything and that her dad had an illness and he passed away from it. Not to say that he didn't show some signs of abusiveness and alcoholism. These are generational traits and curses that Miss Minnie was trying to break in the family. So after her and Deja talked, they hugged, and Deja stayed in the back to bring out a couple of more items. The next thing Deja knows, somebody grabs her from behind, covers her mouth, and drags her out the back room. And y'all already know who it is. It was Calvin. He had already started back walking. He'd been walking by the time they got the divorce, but he played it cool. He didn't want her to know that he could still walk because he was already planning to get his revenge on Deja, and he knew it wasn't going to be pretty. So he drags Deja out of the back, and he forces her into his car, y'all. So everybody is looking for Deja, and nobody can find her. They look in the back and they see where she had a bucket where she was getting ice, and all the ice and everything was all over the ground. So they knew right then and there something wasn't right, and they started looking for her. So they're in the car now, but they're still outside of the juke joint. Calvin says to Deja, yeah, bitch, you thought you had me. You shot me. You thought you took my life, but here I am. And now the tables have turned, and I'm definitely going to end up taking yours. Why, Deja? Why did you have to do this to me? And Deja's just looking at him like, did you not know what you did? Did you forget that I caught you in the act? So Deja is very scared at this point, and she's just trying to play it cool because she doesn't know what's going to happen. And obviously, Calvin hadn't thought everything through because they still on the property. So everybody that came outside looking for Deja at this point. When he sees everybody coming out, he tries to start backing out, but everybody is surrounding his car. He tells everybody to back up. He grabs Deja, forces her out of the car, and puts the gun in her head. He tells everybody to back up, and he says, because since everybody want to be involved, everybody can witness her death. He forces her to walk to the back near the pond, y'all. Come back for part 8, the final chapter.